Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Next Level CRM. Thank you for joining today. Okay, so we'll just go through some introductions. So my name is Sam Connor. I'm part of the sales team here at Bitrix24 Gold Partners Interface. We're based in the UK, the US and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24, starting off with pre-sale support, so we can discuss your requirements in detail and essentially help you to evaluate if Bitrix24 would be a good solution for your business. If it is, we can help to implement the system for you, set up your requirements. If you're interested in a self-hosted edition, we offer our own hosting services, and we can provide you with comprehensive training and ongoing support to help you get the most out of Bitrix24. Okay, so before we focus on the Bitrix24 CRM, let's just understand a little more about what Bitrix24 is. So Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 35 different tools that you can use to manage your business. And there are over 10 million customers that use Bitrix around the world, and it is voted within the top 10 CRMs globally almost every year. It's a really powerful CRM solution that we're going to look at today. And the Bitrix system is available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud and we have the Bitrix24 self-hosted solution. And prices start from $49 per month for a cloud-based system and $2,990 for a self-hosted edition. Okay, so moving on now to understand why you should use the Bitrix24 CRM for your business. So first of all, there is marketing automation, so we can automate processes as soon as a new inquiry comes into the system. And that allows us to easily capture and qualify leads very quickly using the automation rules. We'll see how we can walk through the sales process, and you'll see how customizable the CRM system is, so we can incorporate our very own stages and processes for leads and deals. And we can integrate lots of different platforms, including our emails, and even if we wanted to integrate telephone calls. So it gives you a full 360-degree picture of all of the activity that we have with our customers. And then we'll see how we can manage and see detailed reports, so we can monitor our team in terms of targets, and we can also forecast sales and view detailed reports based on the data that's inside our CRM. Okay, so we've broken the webinar down into 4 different topics today. So first of all, we'll see how we can generate leads in the system. We'll then have a full overview of the Bitrix24 CRM system, and really starting from a web form, in triggering a new lead, through to closing a sale. And then we'll have a look at the reporting tools as well. Okay, so here we are. First of all, we're going to be looking at the ways we generate leads in the Bitrix24 CRM system. So first of all, we can import leads. So very common if you're moving from another solution that you would import your leads from say a CSV file into the system. You can also use the live chat feature, so we can have conversations with customers using the live chat tool. Now let's just have a quick look at this. So if we just go onto our website, for example, you can see here we've got our live chat system set up. So if I wanted to, I could communicate with someone from the team, and that could then allow me to have a conversation, and that could then create a brand new lead in the CRM. We have social network integrations through Facebook and Instagram. So say if somebody direct messages you on Instagram, that can feed into Bitrix, and that could then create a new lead in the system. CRM forms, probably our most popular way of generating leads. It's really powerful. So you can create forms in Bitrix and then embed that form onto your website. And then from there, when somebody submits their details on that form, that can then automatically create a brand new lead in the system. If you wanted to integrate telephony, so you can receive calls directly in Bitrix24, when a new call comes into the system, that could create you a new lead that you can then process. We also have the sites module, so this is where you can create your very own landing pages inside the system. And really with the sites module, it's a case of connecting other tools such as CRM forms and also live chats. So if we just show you the sites module here, here is a site we've created before, so you can incorporate different tools such as the live chat feature, and we can have a web form as well. And those different channels then can create a new lead in the system. So it's with the sites module, you can incorporate lots of different tools into the system. We've got the marketing module, so you can send out marketing campaigns to your potential customers, and using automation rules, we can then trigger the creation of leads. And then we also can, of course, add manual leads. So what we can do is we can create a lead manually from, say, if we're out of the office and we want to manually add a new lead in the system, we can then start progressing it through our custom features. Okay, so let's just have a look at some of those in more detail. So we mentioned around the live chat system, so that's in our contact center. So inside here we can set up our own open channels. So we could come into here and connect to an open channel. We can then select who is responsible for dealing with those live chat requests inside the system. And you can set up, say, hours for when a live chat can be routed to the team. So if we just have a look at this now, if we go to, let's have it open up our live chat here. Okay, so we've just added a new question into here. I want to know when we're going to be open. So I've added that chat into the system. Okay, so we can then respond, and that message goes back to the customer. So you have that really easy, seamless communication with your potential prospects directly on their website. So if they've got a question about a product or a service, then you can quickly answer those questions and keep the potential customer engaged with you. And another point there is how we can use the website form. So inside here, we could fill out our details, and that could then automatically create you a new lead inside the system. And there is also the marketing module. So with the marketing module, what we can do is we can create our very own marketing campaigns that we can then send out to our potential prospects. So the marketing module here has lots of different templates that you can use, or you can upload your own custom HTML. And then from here we can design our campaign. So it all uses what we call block technology. So I can add my text. It allows you to create your very own marketing campaign here. So let's just remove some pieces here. We've got the image. And now I can preview what this looks like on different displays. So here I can see what this looks like on a phone, also on a tablet display here. And then we also have the desktop application as well. So that's really useful. There's no coding required here. We can easily build out our email campaign, and then I can see what this looks like on different displays. So I can make sure it looks effective for lots of different types of devices that my potential customers could be using to view this marketing campaign. And then once we've created the campaign, I can then send this out to specific segments. So with the marketing module, it really allows you to create and send out very targeted marketing campaigns. So for example, if I wanted to send this out to specific leads, I could choose the leads of a certain status. But then maybe also I want to choose all of those who chose the sales inquiry type when they submitted their inquiry. So you can see here how we're drilling down the data from the CRM system to be very targeted in our marketing activity. And that should then help us to to close more leads initially and then close more sales opportunities. Okay, so that's the marketing campaign, and just to mention, if you are going to use the campaign section here, once you have sent a campaign out, you do see more analysis on the campaign. So you can see a recipient list here, so you can see the status, if they've read or clicked on the campaign. And you can see a more kind of visual display of that information as well. So we can see the number of views and the number of clicks. And then further down here we can see a click map. So you'll be able to see where on the campaign your clients have actually clicked through into the system. Okay, so that's a look there at some of the different ways we can generate leads inside the system. Okay, next in the webinar we're going to be actually focusing in the CRM system itself. So we're going to have a look at the entire module as a very high level overview. So we'll have a look at the different entities inside the system, from leads and deals to contacts and companies, and we'll see how we can connect those different entities together to give us a full 360-degree view of the activity that we have with our customers. If you do have any questions as we go through the webinar today, please do add them into the question box on YouTube, and we will run through those for you during the intervals. So the next interval is coming up just after we've gone through the overview of the CRM. Okay, so let's go back into our CRM system. Now what we're going to do is have an overview here of the different entities of the system. Now, something we find quite familiar with our customers is they like to change the terminology of what actually is viewed inside the CRM system. So if, say for example, you wanted to change the term leads to something else, maybe inquiries for example, then with the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24 we would be able to change the terminology. So if you're thinking that maybe the terminology here isn't quite what you're looking for, with the self-hosted system we have the capability to really customize the terminology to what you need it to be. But okay, let's now go through the system here. So first of all, we have lead. Sales executive, they may only be able to see the leads that they are responsible for example. So we can set different levels of permissions inside the system. Okay, so let's now see here, we've got our leads. So here you can see a better example of how we can set stages for our leads. And the stages that we set here are completely customizable. Maybe you want to save that inside the system here. So you can see all of the history, you can see any live chat communications that have come through, for example. So you can see the entire history that you have with your leads in here. And you've got a filtering tool, so you can drill down into any of those comments or emails in the system. A really powerful area of the Bitrix CRM is the automations. So what we can do is we can set up automated processes, either for communications with your customers, or it could be internal activity for your team. So it could be maybe a task for the responsible person, for example. So it's really easy for you to streamline your lead and sales processes. So if I just go back into here, for example, let's move to the arrange meeting stage, and it's now automatically created a new task inside the system for me to complete. Okay, and once you have, let's just go back into the list view so you can see the difference again between the list and the Kanban. Once you've got enough information, hopefully you're able to then qualify that lead. And hopefully you can then see it's a genuine sales opportunity for the business. So once we've gone through those stages, you should be at that stage where you can either qualify or reject that inquiry. And if you're able to qualify it, we can then turn that into a different entity inside the system. So for example, from here we could create a contact record and a company record if we have an organization associated with this inquiry. And then we can also create a deal. And a deal is really where we focus on the genuine sales opportunities. So this is why we have the separation between leads and deals. Not every inquiry that comes in will be a genuine sales opportunity that you want your sales team to focus a lot of time on. So this is where we can really filter out those poor inquiries with the good quality inquiries that we want to be working on. So we can then add those into a pipeline. So here we can see we have our pipelines based on geographical location, but this could be based on different products or services you offer. So for example, if this was an estate agency, then you may have a sales pipeline and you may have a rental pipeline, for example. It's completely customizable to what you would want this to be. So from there we can then create a deal, a contact and a company. So we'll go into our contact database now and see how we can connect that deal with the contact. Okay, so here we can see our contact database. So here is where we can see a record of all of the contacts that we have in the system. And you can see at the top here, again, we've got a filtering tool. So again, you can filter through all of this information if you wanted to. Maybe you want to filter based on contact type, for example. So you can drill down into any information, and it's also a free text search area. And then I can open up our contact page. So here again, we can see all of the details about the contacts. And you can see here, Mark Moon is associated to the company called Techco. So you can associate a contact to multiple companies inside the system. And I can click on the company page and it will open up the company. And inside here, really the key difference in the company is that you can associate multiple contacts with the company. And at the start of today's webinar, we mentioned about the contact center, so how we can integrate lots of different communication platforms into the system. So that could be your emails, for example, and it's also possible to connect telephony. So what we can see inside here is a lot of those different types of communication tools. So we can see here some emails, we can see telephone calls. Okay, so we could play those calls back. We can see SMS messages as well. So this area here gives you a full 360-degree view of all of that dialogue and communication with the customer. So if you were about to go to speak with Mark Moon, you could come into their contact page here and very quickly see the last correspondence that we've had with the customer, and that can then be start of the initiation of the next conversation that you have with this customer. So there's no need to be wasting time. Everything can be saved inside here. So if I wanted to send an SMS, we have a Twilio integration that we can integrate for you into Bitrix. So I could then send an SMS message out straight from here. Okay, so I could say hi Mark, and then that could be sent out straight from the system here. And that's a two-way integration on the SMS. Maybe I want to create some tasks or maybe send an email. You can manage all of this activity directly through the contact page. And then we can see here across the top we've got some different tabs. So we'll have a look at deals shortly in more detail. But essentially here we can then connect all of the different sales opportunities with this contact. And we can then see all of the quotes and invoices that this customer is associated with as well. So everything associated to this contact is saved in this one page. You don't need to be going through endless, say, Excel sheets or emails. Everything is seamlessly saved in this one page. And we mentioned earlier around the company database. So here we can store all of the details about our companies inside the system. And it's the same here for quotes and invoices. So we can see all of those quotes and invoices in here. And these all connect the quotes and the invoices with our deals. So the deals section is where we can manage all of our sales opportunities. So these connect with either your contacts, or it can be your contacts and companies both together. And we mentioned how you can have separate pipelines. So these are essentially separate databases where we can store all of the details for our, either here is the UK sales, and Europe sales, or it could be, say, different products or services that you offer. A key benefit of using the pipeline feature is that we can set up our own stages here, so we can see for our UK office the stages and the automations we've set up. But if I go into our Europe pipeline, the stages and the automations are completely different. So that's really useful if you are going to use pipelines for maybe different services you offer. It's very likely that you are going to have different steps and processes in each process. So you can manage that by using the pipeline functionality. Okay, so let's now go into a deal. Okay, so inside the deal, a key feature here is how we can connect with our clients. So here I can see Mark Moon is the client associated to this particular deal. And again, if I wanted to save any additional information for this particular sale, then I can create custom fields and sections inside here. Now, key feature within the deal section as well is the product catalog. So what we can do is we can add our products, or it could be services that you want to have inside the system here. So we can add our products into here, and once we've added the products, those can then be brought through into our product database for this particular deal, and that then gives us a value for the deal in the system. And from there we can then create a quote. So we can see here the quote for this particular deal, and it's brought through the product information as well. And a really nice feature is we have the document generator tool. So what we can do from here is we can then generate quote and invoice documents for the deal itself. So we can see here we've got our own branding and information, but then it's personalized the document. So it's brought through that product information and the contact information. And then I could send this out to the customer via email or SMS. I could download it as a PDF. I could even send it as a public link. So if I wanted to send this as a link, for example, I could then do so from here. Okay, so it's really useful. We can create personalized documents inside the system. And then once that's been approved, so we can see here this quote has been approved, we can see the different stages. Again, that's completely customizable, so you can set up the stages you would want to use for quotes and for invoices. And we can again set up automation rules. So this is a really nice example. If, say, you were at the waiting on client stage for this particular quote, if at 2 days time we're still at this stage, we're going to receive a notification to get back in touch to try and move this quote forward and close the sales opportunity. And then from there we can also generate an invoice. So we can pull that quote information and generate an invoice, which again, that will connect back with the deal here. So we can see this is connected back inside the system here. So if we go back in, we can go into our quotes and invoices section, and we can see all of those documents are connected back to the deal. And if we go into the contact, we can see the deal, the quote and the invoice is all connected back with the contact page. So you have that complete to then build your very own reports based on that data inside the system. So for example here, this is our lead analysis page. So we can see here how many leads we have at different stages. And we can see based on our team how many have converted into deal opportunities, so we can see the performance of our team. We can also build our own dashboards for all of the different pipelines that we have set up inside the system. So here we can see analysis based on the value of the pipelines that we've got, so the number of deals we've won, how many are still in progress. And we can set up those pipelines reports for each individual pipeline here, and you can add your own reports into this dashboard area as well. Okay, so that's a look there at the overview of the Bitrix24 CRM system. Okay, questions just come in. Where are the permission settings for the CRM? So let's just go back into the CRM here, and we can go to our settings section. We have the permissions button here, and we can go into here, and first of all you want to create the different roles for how you want the permissions to be set up. Then based on the roles we can then set the permissions for that particular role. So on the left hand side we can see all of the different entities for the CRM, and across the top we can see the different types of permissions. So then we can start to configure the permissions for those different access rights. So you can go very granular on those permissions, so we can go down to individual stages in leads and deals, but it is quite important to have a partner like ourselves help you with the setup of the permissions, because it can get quite complex, and if this isn't set up correctly you can fall into quite difficulty in terms of what people are able to access and export data from the system. So it is very critical to have assistance with this, and that's where we can come in. Bitrix24 CRM. Now let's take you through a case study. So we'll see how we can trigger the creation of a new lead in the system, and then we'll go through and qualify that lead. We'll generate a contact and a company and associated deal with that, and we'll then see how we can communicate with the customer and generate a quote and an invoice to be linked with that deal opportunity, and then we'll see how we can win that new deal and see how that history is saved inside the CRM system. Okay, so what we've got here is a web form. So we mentioned how you can create forms in the system. So if we go back onto our home page here, we have a form for how you can book a demonstration, so you can have that seamless connection here. So let's now create a new inquiry. So I've got my details in here, so I'm going to submit that information. Okay, now let's go back into our lead database. We can now see 7 seconds ago automation rules here. So the automation has now been sent through via an email. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to rename this to the inquirer. And we could use automations actually to automatically take the lead's name and add that as the title. Okay, so from here I'm going to go through and arrange a meeting with them. So that's created a task in the system. I'm going to track the amount of time that I'm spending on that particular task. So that's really useful if you want to be able to log the amount of time that on your particular tasks associated with your leads. And in here I could also communicate. So let's say I want to just message someone else in our sales team. Okay, so we can save all of that history inside the system here, and I'm going to pause that time on there as well. So that's now been saved in here. I'm going to add some notes. So from my meeting I've got some notes. Okay, so I'm going to save that information. And what's quite nice as well is you can pin any critical data to the top. So up to 3 items and notes can be pinned here at the top. I'm going to complete that task. And from here, if I wanted to, I'm going to just follow up with an email to Sam just to check everything's okay. So again, we could automate this process using the automation rules, or there are templated emails as well. I'm going to send out a manual email here just to follow up. Okay, so I'm going to send this out. So again, we can see here the seamless integration with our emails inside the system. And all of that information is then saved in this activity. So even though this lead was only added recently, we can see all of this activity. So we've got notes, we've got emails, we've got tasks. So all of this activity is saved in this one area of the system, which we can then filter through to find any specific details. Okay, so maybe I've had a call now with Sam, so this is looking good. They're interested in purchasing a license from ourselves. So I'm going to complete this lead. We've got the contact details, and I want to add this as a new deal. So because this is a genuine sales opportunity, now we've qualified it, they're interested in a license, and that's something we can sell to them. So I'm going to create a deal and a contact. They're based in the UK, so I'm going to save this in our UK pipeline. And that's now going to create a new contact record and deal inside the system. Okay, so we'll just let that load. Now it is up to you how you want that to work. If you had company information in here as well, you could create a company record as well and attach the contact and the company with the deal. Deal by detail, all of the history from the lead is brought through so you don't lose any of that information. And we can go into deals, and we can now see that deal has been created and a responsible person has been assigned. So again, you don't really lose any steps in this process. We can save all of this information very quickly, and again, it is possible if you wanted to, we'll go through this later on, how you could receive a payment inside here. I'm just going to hide that for now. So we brought through all of the details. It's now scheduled a call. So if you integrate your telephony, you could actually call directly through the system here and have a conversation with Sam about the license they're interested in. I've had that call, so I know they're interested in a professional cloud license. Okay, so now I have that information, I can now build a proposal for Sam. And that's now created a task. So let's just record my time that we're spending on this particular task. So I'm going to go back into here and add some products. So I need to go into here and select the product. So I can go into here, you can break down products into different categories. So I've got our licenses here. So I'm going to select that, save that information. And now I want to create a quote for the license. Okay, so here we've got the quote. So what I'm going to do here is it's brought through the product information. Now I'm going to create a quote document that I can send out to Sam. Okay, fantastic. So here it has created that quote with the product information. And now I'm going to send this to Sam via an email. Okay, so you can see here we can manage the entire sales process through the Bitrix24 system. So I sent that out to them now, so we're currently waiting on the clients. We mentioned how we could set up some automation, so we can see that's running in the background now. If in 2 days time we're still at this stage of the process, I'm going to be notified to get back in touch. So you can see how that could be a really powerful tool for you and your sales team. If you've got a lot of quotes that you've sent out, it can be very difficult to keep on top of all of that information. So you okay, and then from here we can then also send this out to the customer using the template tool. And if we go back into the deal, we can now see all of the information from the quote and the invoice has been connected into here. So I can see the product information, I can see the quotes and the invoices. It's all linked back into here. So we're going to approve that they're paid for the product, and let's mark the deal as won. Okay, and now let's go back into the contacts. Okay, so we can see all of that information has come through here. We can go into the deals, and we can see the one deal that we've just processed and the winning quotes and invoices versions, so based on how many sales opportunities are connected with the customer and the total value of the deals we're working on. So there's lots of reports available inside the individual contact and company pages as well. Okay, so that's a case study there to show how we can convert a brand new web form inquiry into a winning sales opportunity. Now let's take a look at the reporting tools in the CRM. So this is quite important to be able to analyze all of the data coming in from the CRM system. So first of all, in leads and deals, we have the list view. Now this is quite useful because we can export this data out of Bitrix24. So what we can do is we can customize the layout of this information, and we can filter as well. So this is useful. We might want to drill down into the deals of a certain responsible person, and I can then export this data out of Bitrix. I think one of my favorite displays, this is the Kanban display. So if we've got a value associated to the deal, as we progress a deal through different stages, that will automatically update the value here. So we can really use this for forecasting and see where our different sales opportunities are. We also have the reports wizard. So what this allows you to do is you can build your very own reports from scratch. So we can select the area of the CRM we want to report on. I can then add a name and a description for the report. Choose my date range for when I want this report to report on. And then we can build out our report. So this uses any fields from the CRM you can use to customize the report. And we can also create filters to drill down into any activity. And then we can also show a chart so we can see a graphical representation of the information from this report. This report will be for ourselves, or we can also share this with other people. So we can decide who we want to share this report with, for example. And then the other way for reporting is, as we've already mentioned, the CRM analytics module. So in here we can build dashboards and reports based on information from the CRM system. We can build targets and reports for our staff as well. So I might want to, maybe if you want to set targets for your teams, you could set those inside here, see how well they're tracking to their targets. And if you do integrate some of those contact center tools such as live chat, there are conversation statistics inside the contact center, so we can see the number of sessions, the average, say, reply time based on live chats. We can see how busy we are at different times of the day, so we know when we need to schedule staff inside the system. So there's lots of different areas within the Bitrix24 system where we can see detailed reports of the data from our CRM system. Okay, so just to mention some of the differences between the cloud and the self-hosted, we have mentioned them a little throughout the webinar today. So both editions include leads, deals, invoicing and reporting, and both include custom record layouts. And just in terms of those layouts, if we just go back into the system, one feature just to mention is quite a new feature called Smart Process Automation. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to build your very own new entities inside the system that you can then connect in the CRM. So for example, here we have some workshops, and we can then connect these with our contacts in the system. So we can then add those contacts into a workshop, for example. So this is a brand new entity with different stages that we can progress the record through. So the Smart Process Automation is a really powerful tool that allows you to create new entities inside your CRM. And that is available on both the cloud and the self-hosted edition. Now, one of the key differences with the self-hosted edition is that it is possible to really customize the system to a greater detail. So we've mentioned how you may want to change the terminology of, say, leads and deals. With a self-hosted edition, we have the capability to customize to that level and extent. and we can also remove features that you don't require, so it's simplified for you and your team. Okay, so in summary today, we've looked at how we can use the CRM marketing module to build marketing campaigns that we can send out to our prospects to help generate new leads and close sales opportunities. We've seen, and I think this is really essential for the Bitrix CRM, is how we can manage leads and deals through automation processes. So essentially you can streamline your entire sales process using those automation rules. So that allows you to communicate directly with your customers and set up activity for your sales team. So that will save you time, and it really means you can close more sales opportunities in a timely manner. We've then also seen that 360-degree view of all communications through multiple channels such as email, SMS, phone calls. And then we've looked at the reporting side, so we can see how there's lots of areas within Bitrix24 for reporting and analysing the data in the CRM system. Okay, so here are a selection of the up and coming webinars for Bitrix24. We're here every Tuesday at 11 AM Eastern Time, so I hope you're able to join for next week's webinar. In the meantime, if you do have any questions before next Tuesday, please do send those in to us at sales@interface.com, and one of our team will be back in touch with you to discuss your questions in more detail with you. Okay, so thank you for joining today's Next Level CRM webinar, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next webinar next week. Thanks for your time today. Bye for now.